Hello, everyone from around the world. Good afternoon. I messed up my intro already. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. This is ASE Pair, and actually, I'm quite alone right now. I, I was told Oldie would be here a little bit late, and I believe Quetzal was supposed to join us for today's stream, but he is also running a tad late, so they will be joining us shortly. So sit tight for now. It's just going to be me. I'll do my typical intro and stuff. So today we're going to be casting AS Gladiators versus 4bidden4. AS Gladiators is already into the top 8, and that is my team. And 4bidden4 is the AZ team. So this is definitely going to be an interesting matchup. Would really like to... I really, even though on paper this match doesn't technically matter for top 8, it will matter, for example, if 4bidden4... So in this division, the match that actually decides things is the underrated champions versus 4bidden4 match. That will determine which of those two teams make it into top 8. But we'll have to see what happens in this match first. Okay, let's look over the players and the nations. Oh, this is the wrong tab. My bad. And the players and nations, we've got on the 4bidden4 side, we've got AZ Language of Trees, AZ Moham, AZ Amun, and AZ Chipa. Again, nice name, guys. I really like the 4bidden4 name. On the other side of AS Gladiators, that's my team. There's AS Eat the Pair, that's me. AS Shirkan, AS Namilo X, and AS Marvelous. Namilo has, I believe, he's changed his name to Mad Duelist. His username. So if you do see that in the game, that is who that is. Bans on both sides are exactly the same: Lakota, British, and Aztecs. These are among the top nations in each tier, and therefore one of the most frequently banned set of nations. I don't really want to start casting the game before my co-casters get in here because I played these games. So anyways, so I guess we'll go back to the divisions to talk briefly about those. Let's take a look at each of the divisions. So let's start with division number 1. So division number 1, if you look at it, PLA Kung Fun has already made it in the top 8. They are 3-0. And basically if you look at the tournament matches that have been played and what matches have yet to be played, the only match that matters for top 8 at this point is Clan Hater Appreciation Society versus IND. The winner of that match will advance to top 8 pretty much, I believe. I think IND might, there's a chance IND lose their second match, or lose one of their matches against one of the other teams, but that is looking unlikely. We'll have to see what comes out of that match. I believe that match has been played, so we will be bringing that to you soon, very soon. That's it for Division 1. Division number 2, AL has clearly already made it into the top 8, and now it's going to be between. It's basically Call of Daddy is in the driver's seat. We saw yesterday, or Friday maybe, I don't actually remember when. We saw the other day that Call of Daddy versus Strat, Call of Daddy won that, and so therefore if Call of Daddy and Strat end up at the same record, they'll be tied. So it's Call of Daddy's top 8 to lose, basically. They just need to not give away 2 wins. They just need to make sure, I believe it's Lat Team 2 that can still get 2 wins. And if they beat Call of Daddy, then we'll have a 3-way tie situation happening, which does look unlikely. It's going to depend on the tiebreakers and all that. Really hard to say exactly who will be there. Okay, now Quetzal is here, finally. Hello, can you hear me?
Hey.
Hi, welcome. We're live on stream right now. I've just been talking about the divisions quickly while I was waiting for people.
Hey, cool.
Welcome. Yeah, so this is Lat Quetzalcoatl for those who don't recognize his name. Welcome.
So, hey, everyone. Thank you. Cool to be here again. And let's watch some cool games.
Yeah, I'm going to finish talking about these.
Yeah.
The divisions here. So again, in Division 2, Call of Daddy's likely to win the division, but there is a small chance that there could be a 3-way tie, depending on how the rest of these games play out. In Division number 3, we've got As I talked before, AS Gladiators are already into the top 8. And it's pretty much a toss-up between Underrated Champions and 4bidden4. Really excited to see that match. I'm not actually sure if it has been played yet. And finally, Division 4, Dirty's Angels is already into the top 8. And here, clearly, there is a match that is a deciding match. It's Old Pappy Nuts versus Last Minute. I'm not sure if that has been played, but that will be really exciting to cast. Old Pappy Nuts is, of course, olddirtyh, our fellow co-commentator. That's his team, so really exciting to see what will happen in that match.
It's true. That seems promising, actually.
Yeah, definitely. And Last Minute is the team of Wizard, Brontavus, and Bonton, and Metaheuristics, I believe. So pretty exciting to see that match. All right, so before we jump into today's game, Quetz, if you want to get those set up, like the replays and all set up, before we jump into today's game, quick reminder about the teams and nations. So 4bidden4 versus AS Gladiators. Both teams have banned Lakota, British, and Aztecs. I'm excited to see this match. Quetza, who do you think is favored here? I've played this match, so I know what happens. But who do you think is favored in this matchup?
Well, I can tell you, for example, about Nuts. I mean, I totally know him. I'm not sure, but you mean they're pretty strong, as a matter of fact. And I don't really like to talk bad about any team before the match.
Of course.
But I will say that also because I'm more familiar with him and his team, then I will say I'll go with them.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure myself. We did see some of these players really carry their teams, whereas other players fell short. So definitely an exciting match to be seen.
Yeah.
Before we jump into today's match, we're going to talk about the donations quickly. If you like the Nordic Classic and you like supporting our stream and you want to contribute to the prize pool, on the front page of the Nordic Classic tournament, there is a prize pool link, which is also in the description below. And it's GoFundMe, and you can donate to the prize pool. We really, really appreciate donations because they make things just a little bit more exciting for the participants and viewers. It looks like we have a new donor. I'm really... I was about to say I'm really sorry if I pronounce it wrong, but we have a donation from Some Peanuts for Your Mouth. Thank you so much. Also, other donations are El Cypher, Wizard of War, Kron, PLA, Jatin, Bybrack. This anonymous person is Connor, and Bob. Thank you so much for all your donations. We really, really appreciate it.
Guys, that's really cool. Absolutely amazing from you. Now, I was actually just commenting a little bit about that with Inca, and it's a tremendous nice act of the guys that are giving. I mean, of course, there are different scenarios, different situations for every of us. So if you can and you want, then amazing. I mean, and you do it, amazing. Thank you very much. You help the community to keep a little bit tighter.
Yeah, definitely. We really, really appreciate it. All right, let's jump into game number 1, shall we?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right.
So...
All right, I gotta load it up first. So this is the Nordic Classic. This is a week 4 match. It's AS versus AZ, game number 1. Hey, Venkata VMC, how's it going? See you in the chat.
Oh.
All right, I'm at 1 second when you are ready, Quetza.
Okay, just 5 seconds.
All right, no worries. So briefly.
Okay. Yeah.
You good?
Yeah, go for it.
3, 2, 1, go. All right, so this is AS versus AZ, which is 4bidden4. Let's take a look at the map, which is Southwest Mesa, and let's take a look at the players and their nations. On the AS side, we have AS Master Khan, who's AS Shere Khan, AS Ether Para, that's me, and AS Mad Duelist X, that's the Milo. who changed his name recently. On the AZ side, or the 4bidden4 side, we have AZ Language of Trees, AZ Chipa, and AZ Moham. Trees has actually been a commentator once, I think, on this stream. Anyways, let's take a look at the nations. For Master Khan or Shere Khan, he has Mongols. Either pair has Koreans, and Mad Duelist X has Indians. Whereas on the other side, Language of Trees has Koreans, Chipa has Persians, and Mohem has Turks. How do you feel about these picks, Quetzal? Who do you think has the edge?
Well, I can tell you, I love Mongols. I mean, from tier 1, usually I love to pick Mongols. Those are maybe one of my favorite nations. Of course, it doesn't, discredit choice of Turks in the other hand, which are terribly dangerous too. But I also like that you actually went with Koreans. I think that picking Koreans, it always means a team player.
Yeah.
I mean, it can mean it gives you all the tools to be a team player, even though you may not use them, of course.
Yeah.
But I like it. I like that very much. Mongols, of course, Indians. Then we're speaking about elephants. Of course, we will see elephants, tons of them, hopefully.
Yeah, Indians versus Persians, lots of elephants.
And Persians. Yeah, and also Turks. So they have pretty much apparently. Same defense line, if you want to consider Koreans as a defense line.
Yeah.
Then the attack, you have Mongols versus Turks. Let's see how they, how you guys handle it, which is a different gameplay, I will say.
Yeah, definitely.
And Persians and Indians is pretty much, the same, almost the same.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, personally for me, I think when you go into the loading screen of the game, right, and you're looking at these nations. So for our side, we wanted to just pick a couple of the good nations, right? Mongols, as you said, are really excellent. Koreans are pretty flexible and also a good team nation. And I believe Namila wanted to play Indians. When we were in the loading screen, we were a bit confused because, Turks and Koreans, sure, those two go together, right? In a fast, aggressive paced game, Koreans, their power is really, really good. Their sieges are awesome. And as well as Turks, they have that really fast start, really... scary aggression. We were a bit confused why they picked Persians over, for example, like Iroquois or something. That felt like it would have been a better pick because it fits their game style a little bit better. Especially, when you pick Turks, you're going for an aggressive push like that. That's
absolutely
that's like their main power. And if you're not using them, they're just another like random fast nation. So it's like you want to use that power. So generally, it's better to pick. Nations that complement each other in that respect. Persians are a bit slow to get going, but in the later game, their unique units are insane. The elephants are insane. The heavy infantry are really, really good, especially in like classical medieval age. Really strong.
So perhaps they are counting, on a long game.
Perhaps.
So. Yeah. We may see some booming in here. We will see. I mean, in the long run, also that's the thing. You got elephants, Persians in one hand, and then you got the Indians, elephants in the other hand. So two other Koreans. Let's see. As you were saying, the fast attack of Turks that can be deadly dangerous. If it is reinforced by the militia, which are pretty much all the villagers from Koreans.
Yeah.
Oh man, then that's a real problem.
Yeah, definitely. So I think going into this, I felt like AZ is the slight underdog in this match because see what happens in game. Let's take a look at where the players have spawned. On the very left side, isolated all by himself, it's AZ Mohem, the Turk player, who also has diamonds right next to his territory. Then there's his teammates AZ Chipa with Persians, the green Persian player, and AZ Language of Trees, the light blue Koreans player right next to him. On the bottom side, there's the opposing Korean player, myself, the purple Korean player, AS the pair. And then we have the red Indian player, Mad Duelist X, on the middle, and the white Mongol player, AS Master Khan or Shere Khan, on the right side. So let's take a look at the ruins bonuses quickly.
So it seems like they are. Yeah. They have plenty.
Yeah, it looks
They
like
still,
each player has at least 3. We don't see that minuscule 1 or 2 from some teams that we've seen in the past.
yeah.
Looks like MasterCon and Trees are leading the chase, but either pair has a decent amount as well.
What do you personally think? Between these two choices, confronting Mongols and Turks, when you speak about their powers and their attack, of course, since they are aggressive nations.
It all depends on which player can inflict economic damage to the other one, right? Like, I think in a straight, like, if both players have roughly the same speed, and they don't deal each other too much damage, then I think the Mongols player is favored, right? Cheaper cavalry are great, getting some free units in the game is great.
Of course.
I think if the Turk player can really get any sort of advantage early on, kill a couple citizens, like 1 or 2, or like a couple merchants for free, pick off like an archer or something, that can be really a snowballing effect.
Oh yeah, it's true. It also depends what the Mongol player decides to go, because it's been quite frequent also to see come 2 before aging in a Mongols. I mean, many players prefer to go that way, so they say it's a better way to take advantage of the fastness of Mongols. That also economically speaking, I mean, they are monstrous. Especially when you have a 3 versus 3 or a 4 versus 4, more territory involved. They got flying with food.
Yeah, so here quickly we see Chipa has gone straight for mill 1 as the Persians player. This is a risky build, but we'll see if it works out. It looks like he's a little slow, and Namilla might be able to get the city up. I'm not entirely sure what will happen. 2 mortals immediately queued up. This is a nice choice. You really want to go for these heavy infantry first up, although admittedly the Persian heavy infantry are slightly weaker because they are ranged, but that range really makes up in a late game. We also see this is an excellent city position from Language of Trees. Clearly, you want to push towards the Indian player because you have a Turk player on your team. You want to get as close as possible. So a nice city position, grabs a central territory as well as Pappy. Let's take a look at the rares quickly. For the AZ side, 4bidden4, they have relics on the top side here, as well as all the way on the top there's Silk. There's Pappy right next to Jinju. There is a bison on this top side over here, and there's silver right in the middle on the left, and then horses below Persepolis. That's going to be really good for the Persian player. There's diamonds right next to Moham.
Yeah,
and that pretty much
they
wraps
have
up their
library already.
Yeah, those are very good rares. Relics, Pappies, and silver. If I were looking at these rares, I would think, okay, I just want to let the game go to a late game. I never want to despot. I just want to sit back and boom a little bit because these rares are so good. They scale so well. On the other side for the, we do see these heavy infantry not getting anything done. We do see on the other side for AS, let's start on the very right side. There's Dai right next to Shere Khan's capital, Karakoram. There's copper on the bottom side below Delhi. There's spice next to Mira, but that it's like a pretty scary position. This cliff is going to be really awkward. On the bottom side, there's obsidian. Right next to Pear's capital, there is citrus, and there's cotton as well over there. And on the left side, there's peacocks. I think clearly AZ have the better rares, especially for a longer game.
Oh yes, absolutely, I agree. And let's see if they take advantage, because just what we were talking about last game, I think that I was, talking. I mean, it is different to have all the rares in your territories, that they are available. I have a whole different stories to actually use them. Then using them, defending them from the raids, and so it all comes together in the very end. But of course they have a good choice. They're a very good choice to go ahead on the game.
Yeah, definitely. And we do see here, this is a good raid from Chipa. You're getting a good amount of economic damage, denied all of the food mining from, or all of the food gathering from Mad Duelist X here. But look at it. Chipa has just gotten way too far behind in economy. Feels like the execution was a bit off. Should have gotten up some merchants earlier. Get that second city going. Because if you look at the score, Chipa's really far behind in score. Although he is dealing good damage to Namillo. Namillo is doing a decent job microing these citizens out once again. And there's
that's the risk of the early raids, I think. I mean, you spend a lot of resources, right, in your troops at the very beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you decide not to go. I mean, if you decide to skip Commerce 1, then you're way limited. I mean, way limited growing up. And sure, I mean, as long as you manage to inflict as much of the damage that of the slowdown that you're provoking yourself, then it's difficult to.
But I mean, still, we do see here Chipa continuing to build units. I think this is not a good choice. Really needs to get that Civic 1 and get that income up to plus 100 or pump out some more merchants. There's just really no need to make more units at this game when all of the opposing players do have Mill 1. We see olddirtyh is aging and...
Man, why do you speak about about yourself as in third person? That's
I don't know.
weird.
It feels weird to me to say like, oh, I'm aging in a game of casting.
I'm aging, and
we do see the Turks player has gone for Mill 2. This looks like they're gonna try and rush. Also, look at that wealth income plus 63. That's really good. That's a result of 2 markets and a merchant. There is going to be a bowman that's kind of walking past this merchant from Language of Trees, but gonna snipe it in the end.
Yeah, actually, you smelled it, right? I mean, you were saying there might be a rush here.
Yeah,
sensed it.
I generally, if you have a Turkish player that has gone untouched, right? You haven't seen any of their units, you haven't seen them do anything, and it's past 10 minutes in the game. They're definitely doing extra techs. I don't know if that's rush. It could have been rushing. It could have been, building up,
booming,
or it could have been booming. But like, it's like you just want to be careful. And so at this point, I told Namillo that, and Namillo very smartly gets up a temple and a tower while he ages.
Yeah. I mean, when playing against the Turks or playing against Lakota, a temple and a tower in your capital, I think is kind of a must.
Yeah. We do see here Moham doing an excellent trick. This is called the tower trick. Basically, what you do is when you click up to age, you put down some towers, but don't build them, and then you cancel them in classical age, which gives you metal instantly. It's a bit of a downgrade because you're transferring like 60 timber into metal, into like 50 metal or something like that. But it's an instant boost. It cancels it, get that immediately metal. And also Chipa has given some resources. Chipa is still behind, still doesn't have that second city. Finally building it up. Should have done that a while ago. I think they would be way more ahead if Chipa had been a little bit faster on the build order. Let's take a look at this side. Looks like Sheer has gone for a regular standard build, as has Namillo, all 1 tech in each. And now everybody's just booming up.
Yeah. Wait. Let me repeat. Let me hear again that of the tower, because I actually wasn't aware of that. But now that you said it, it makes total sense.
Yeah, of course. So how it works is you click up to classical age, right? You click up the button, and we do see all these sieges going to start sieging Mira. You click on the button, and then you put down towers as you would lookout scouting. But you have to click down on them and put them down. But you don't
build it. You don't
build it. Correct. And there's a lot of militia being pulled. From the Korean player who has instant militia. There's 4 sieges here. Not sure if they can take it. We see olddirtyh is repaired with a single citizen. Really should have brought a couple more. But I guess I do have to give props to myself for guessing correctly.
I guess olddirtyh should have sent more villagers there.
Yeah. Yeah, so you put down the tower and then you cancel it after classical age finishes, and that gives you metal instantly. So it's effectively
okay. So you pretty much exchange the wood for the metal.
Yeah, exactly. Attrition is research for Namillo, which is obviously an excellent research, but it's not going to matter here. Trees is going to be able to take the city. Really would like to see him convert some of these militia back to citizens and just start repairing it, because clearly, the AS players don't have any sieges right now. They won't be able to take down a city for quite a while. Does look like Namillo has pulled all of his militia, and that looks like AZ are in trouble. This early rush is good, but only if they can get a big advantage out of it. But there's a lot of units now. We see olddirtyh and Shere Khan bringing in units to help support. And I mean, look, the Persian player Chipa is still in the ancient age. Very little economy to speak of, and these catapults are going to go down, and that means this city's going to go down. Namillo's economy is in shambles, but
Yeah, if you look at the light blue player, I mean, the economy is shattered completely. I mean, he betted it all in that attack. I mean, he betted it all.
Yeah, I think, and we see here, this is a bit of a mistake from Trees. Didn't get the Despot early enough. Probably had a good amount of kills from all those militia early on, but that's probably like 200 resources down the drain that he could have gotten from having a Despot in play. Also, obviously, the plunder from the city. But now it looks like the AZ team has been driven off from their all-in here.
Oh, yeah. It was well countered.
Yeah,
good job, of course. I mean, you keep repairing at least. I mean, that one did the job. That was good.
Yeah, on this side we see, Moham gonna go for Despot now. I think this is not a good choice. You failed the early rush. You just really need to get some sort of economy going with all this floating resources. Feels like this rush was not super well executed, even though it came early. It just didn't contribute to any sort of lasting advantage for the AZ players. They're still gonna siege Mirad.
No, I think that early attack will backfire on them, actually.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, look at Chipa's economy right now. He's been set back like 5 minutes or so.
Oh yeah. I mean, considering the very early attack of Chipa, which made him, of course, made him still being in at ancient age, and then this other early attack, which spent a lot of resources, but they didn't manage to keep the city, unfortunately. So now, Eat the Pair and Duelist and Mastercan, they are totally above. I mean, you can see it also in the score. The three of them, the scores of the three of them are triple, pretty much. I mean, double of the other team.
Yeah, definitely. When you fail a rush like this, it's really hard to get back ahead. If they're, had they all gone for Senator, they might have been able to recover somewhat and play a longer game with all these excellent rares. But we do see the Koreans player and the Turk player going for Despot. I don't think that was a good choice.
No.
Sure, I guess you want to. Maybe you think you're really, really far behind, which they are at this point, to try and make something happen, which is fair, Looks like they're going to go to the left and probably go down to the bottom. On this side, there is a raid coming from Shirkon, excellent raid on Silver Hoplites coming in, as well as my own raid, Eat the Pear's raid on horses.
Eat the Pear's. So how do you prefer that I call? Do I prefer that I call you as a Eat the Pair, or do I prefer that I say, and now you were attacking, and now you are defending?
I mean, whatever. It's all
sounds weird.
Yeah. And here I'm going to call myself out a little bit here. If you look at Eat the Pair's economy, this is actually a pretty bad economy for this point in the game. Really need to get 150 food and timber, need to get that third city going. It's not like I was struggling this game because I was like managing a couple things at the same time. This is an excellent raid though, going to clean up those diamonds merchants, as well as hurt this wood camp quite a bit.
Yeah, no, that's good.
But now Moham is going to go to the bottom. The Turk player with a lot of units, upgrading hoplites instead of archers. I don't really know why he has mostly archers in this army composition. And gonna.
But Eat the Pair doesn't have a temple though.
Does not have a temple. Yep, and that is a big mistake. This city is very exposed aside from a single tower. The Senate is in a good position though, because you want the Senate at the front, so it'll go down easily. I still haven't. I now moved my units back, and I would have really liked to see Moham go for an ambush earlier on, just to hide the fact that he's here. Otherwise, because the sieges are just far behind at this point.
Yeah, it's true.
There's no point to reveal yourself this early on. Second tower going down from Eat the Pair. We're gonna see if he's able to hold. There is a lot of army from Moham and Chipa, who is kind of supporting. Chipa's gone for Senator.
Well, but here comes the elephants. The elephants might save the day. Let's see.
Yeah, Namilo's gonna bring 2 elephants, 3 archers, and some spotty micro from Eat the Pair here are gonna lose a bunch of these archers to these heavy, to these cataphracts. The first tower does go down, not repairing correctly, and now Eat the Pair is losing a lot of units. It might lose the capital, which is a big mistake. On the other side, though, Eat the Pair is still raiding, and if you look at Moham's economy, it's absolutely destroyed. So they really need to make something happen here.
I have to remind myself to congratulate olddirtyh for that raid. That was really good. Oh well, I can congratulate you now.
Looks like
that's good.
olddirtyh
So
has
they are
pulled all
going
the
anyway.
militia, and Namillo has brought some units as well.
But I want to see how effective will be the attack of Khan, of the white player over there.
Yeah, it looks like this attack
some
is getting
damage.
cleaned up. There's just way too many militia for olddirtyh here, who has pulled all of the militia. The economy is completely destroyed. But,
yeah.
At least he's going to survive. The city's also getting repaired by like 4 citizens, so that's going to be a tough break for Moham. On this side, we do see Sheer has boomed up a little bit, started to siege with 3 sieges, and they're still raiding in the back. A nomad coming in, these hoplites still being annoying. And Moham is forced back.
Okay, but yeah, I mean, actually, they're pretty moved. We made an accurate prediction, I think. I mean, so far there have been these 2 attacks from Moham's team, 2 attacks which were repelled anyways. Now it's time for the counterattack, which Master Khan is taking the lead on it. Let's see how it develops. I mean, overall, I will say. I mean, well, you look at the scores, and definitely they are below.
Yeah, definitely. It's a 1,000-point difference this early on.
Oh yeah. So it can be the beginning, of the counterattack. Also, the beginning. Who knows what's going to settle the game?
Yeah, really. They at this point, AZ is really far behind. They need to make something happen. But it's really hard when they keep getting raided and they're on despot economies. Again, I think this was a bit of a mistake. Firstly, they didn't go for despot early enough. They brought all those units and rushed that city, but then the despot wasn't even finished in time for that attack. And then later on, they went for despot knowing they were slightly behind, and I think that was a bit of a mistake too. Here we see Master Khan going to siege. And a point I wanted to point out earlier, but I forgot to, is look at Moham's army, right? Earlier on, it was mostly foot archers. It was mostly bowmen that
Yes.
it was mostly bowmen in his army, and these were not upgraded. These are not archers. Archers are way better than bowmen in a sort of rush like this. So had he upgraded, it would have been a lot better. Here we see Master Khan and Mad Duelist, who is Namillo, going to age up now. Hey, I see Duzzles in the chat. How's it going? Who is 90? Yeah, Mad Duelist X is Namillo.
So now let's throw you a question
about this. What's your opinion when performing an early attack? Sort of a rush, like let's say, an early attack on second age, already classical age.
Yeah.
So what's more important, to have more units or to have them upgraded? In between
it's way more important to have them upgraded. It's like, right, say for example, right, the archer upgrade costs roughly the same as another archer, maybe like slightly less. So it's the point of having one more unit or having all your units upgraded. Having all your units upgraded is way, way more important. And here we see Sheer, the crossbows coming out. It looks like they probably won't be able to hold even with 3 players on this side because a bunch of them are pretty much out of the game. I mean, look at Moham's economy. Look at Tree's economy. Look at Chiba's economy. Chiba's doing all right, but
Hello?
Hi, can you hear me? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay. Now.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
I mean, this is a pretty big Mongol army. Now we see Mad Duelist Exter and Namillo gonna pop in to support 6 archers, 2 Mahouts? Yeah, 2 Mahouts. There's no way they're gonna be able to hold this unless Trees pulls a bunch of militia. But even then, you just walk in with the army and take it out. Yeah. So what was your question earlier? What was your question earlier with rushing?
With Russians.
No, rushing.
Oh yeah, with rushing. No, it was precisely about that. I mean, what's more important when performing an early attack?
Yeah.
Sort of a rush attack. I mean, having double units, for example, number of units, or upgrade them. Even though
Yeah,
it meant, of course.
Yeah, it's definitely, for me at least, it's definitely way more important to have your units upgraded. GG is called by Moham. This game looks very over. But all the AS players have aged. They're way ahead in economy and tech, and their opponents are not.
And wonders. I mean, dude, it was.
I don't know. For me, I think it's definitely more important to have the unit upgrades, because bowmen are just way better than archers are just way better than bowmen, and phalanx are just way better than hoplites. A really, really big difference. I think that makes it a lot. GG is called again. So ultimately, it felt like AZ had a really good chance this game, but their execution was just a bit off. They could have gone for a longer game with the rares that they had, but.
Well, I mean, in the long run, I suppose Chiba started the whole game, which was attacking, early attacking, surprise attacking. Then their whole game was defined by attacking, and the Purse team just had to pretty much stand this attack, and then if you actually managed, which you guys managed to do it, then it was cool, well done. Then you counter attack, then they actually they were pretty aware of it. It seemed to me that they tried, they retried, they tried one more time, and then it was like exhaustion.
Yeah. We see Tian in the chat say that's trees. No, that 90 is Namillo. Spirit did not play this game. I think I think this game goes very, very differently, especially if Chiba had picked Iroquois, right? Like imagine this game if he goes for the same exact start, but he picks Iroquois. It would have been much faster to get the barracks up. The units would have been faster. They would have hit Mad Duelist much earlier. And it feels like it's what I was talking about earlier. It's just the choices of the nations were a bit off.
Yes, I mean, it seemed to me they were, I'm not really sure what type of strategy probably they thought about. For example, the choice of Persians. Like, which advantage does it give you in an early game when you're raiding, when you're doing those early attacks?
Yeah, it doesn't give you anything.
For example, that was a little bit strange, but okay.
Yeah. I guess the best option is it gives you a cheap Civ, but then we saw Chiba not even Civ for a while. That is going to wrap it up for game number 1. I'm going to update the score really quickly. So AS Gladiators leads in this series 1-0. Let's take a look at game number 2, shall we? You ready for game number 2?
Okay, give me 1 second.
I gotta load it up as well. Alright, AS versus AZ game 2.
Cool, okay.
Alright, okay, I'm at 0 seconds when you are ready.
Go for it.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Go.
Alright, so this looks like it is Watering Hole, one of the more exciting maps, and also hated maps of the humanity. I really dislike playing on Watering Hole, but I know olddirtyh loves it, so everybody has different opinions.
I've come to appreciate more hole than lakes. Dude, I hate lakes.
You hate lakes?
Oh yeah. I mean, even if you put me these two together, hole and lakes, I stay with hole. I mean, hole has more action. I mean, I'm just tired of sitting behind a castle or sieging those hundreds of castles on lakes. Actually.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, for me, I personally like lakes because I like booming. I did like that. It's so fun to me to boom, but I can be aggressive as well. Anyways, let's talk about this game. So it looks like we have the same players except for Amun, who swapped out for Chiba. I think that was a good choice. Chiba ultimately just fell flat a little bit in that game. Let's take a look at the players and their nations. So for Master Khan, who has Iroquois, Ethiopia has Germans, and Mad Duelist X has Greeks. On the other side, for AZ or 4bidden4, Language Trees has Japanese, Amun is Chinese, and Moham has Americans. Who do you think is favored in this matchup?
Well, to me, tell you, Greeks, Germans, and Iroquois. To me, it sounds aggressive. That will sound an aggressive game, actually, and having the advantage of Germans, with the crazy production that nonetheless they can be that as offensive as the offensive nations,
Yeah.
and still keep a good economy, strong economy, like going ahead pretty much relentlessly. And you also have like the option of Greeks, like your backdoor.
Yeah,
Greeks
definitely.
just to go ahead in the library, in the text, right? So that gives them, of course, an advantage in how they manage it.
Yeah, personally, look. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I mean, just to say the other guys, with, Japs probably the overpowered nation of the whole.
Yeah, it's really gonna be up to see. We're gonna be up to see what language trees can pull out of this game. Japanese are really good. I mean, they're really good on any map, but this map especially. The speed really matters. They have slightly cheaper ships. They get extra resources from fish. It's just really, really exceptional.
Yeah, and then Americans also, to play. They are complete. I think. I mean, very wholesome. They have, the attack. Of course, you get the resources from the units. So it's a circle that is feeding itself. Keep attacking, keep receiving, keep attacking.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I will say, going into this game, like looking at the nations, given that it is on Watering Hole, I do think AS has the edge. Iroquois are very good for aggression. Germans are pretty fast. Japanese are good. But Chinese and Americans don't have much in the way of speed or ancient age advantages, so they could lose. The game could be over the game could give the momentum to AS in ancient age, and that makes a big difference on Watering Hole, because losing water early on is really, really hard. Not being able to fish, so we'll have to see what happens. Let's take a look at where the players have spawned. On the bottom left side, the blue Americans player Moham, and in the pocket, his teammate, the green Chinese player Amun. And on the right side, the light blue Japanese player, Language of Trees, who's really, really close to AS Eat the Pair here with Germans. Bit of a face-off there, Japs versus Germans. In the very far back, we see AS Mastercon, the white Iroquois player, as well as AS Mad Duelist X, the red Greek player, who's kind of close but not really to Washington. Really interesting. I really, this sort of face-off where the players are really, really close together is always a little scary, especially on Watering Hole. You don't really want to go for calm mill if your opponent's just going to go straight for mill. Let's take a look at the ruins bonuses really quickly. So this map is a bit sparse on ruins. Looks like Language of Trees only has one ruin. Moham and Ithapera both have 2, whereas Khan and Amun are leading with 125 ruins. Looks like the Japanese player is going to go for Mill 1, and the Germans player is going to go for Commerce 1. That could spell a bit of trouble for Ithapera here.
Let's see. Okay, so so Ithapera actually decided to go Commerce, and Language of Trees decided to go Military. Yeah, so let's see how Ithapera handles this. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, and in hindsight, I think I definitely should have waited to mill. I think it's just really, really greedy to not mill. I don't want to unnecessarily die. I'm pretty sure at this point I have scouted the barracks. So I'm in like panic mode right now. I'm like, oh shoot, he's got mill. I'm totally screwed. Maybe he's got commerce as well. Really far behind. Blah blah blah.
But nevertheless, you also, I think that what will make a difference is the tree count. I mean, you have plenty. I mean, you have at least 7 available. Language of Trees has only 5.
Yeah, and that does make a big difference. In addition, Trees' wood camp is way far from his capital, whereas mine is very close. If needed, I can garrison my citizens pretty easily, whereas here, they're very vulnerable. Let's take a look at the tech tree otherwise. So Amun has gone commerce. The Americans player has also gone commerce. And Namillo has gone civic to civ on silver. I think that's an excellent choice. Going to be able to secure silver for his team. And now we see the Iroquois player going to go for mill as well. Also, the German player going to go for mill. And Trees has come out with a heavy infantry and then a slinger, definitely a good choice. I think he actually wants an archer here, but there's not enough wealth for it. These heavy infantry are going to be quite good at being annoying to these citizens, going to deny some wood mining. Let's see how the micro is. Ether pulls the citizens to attack the slingers.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, and Trees is doing a decent job microing as well, moving back the slingers that are being targeted, still being annoying. He finally sees the barracks, and Ether has queued up a bowman and a slinger. I think at this point, Trees needs to stop making heavy infantry and just go for commerce, and try to get the...
You have done already commerce plus military, and he's still stuck, with military, but I'm building more units, as a matter of fact.
Yeah,
so,
I don't think he can. I don't think at this point you want to stop making units because you can't really accomplish much else with this raid. You can't deny the wood mining because there's archers coming out of this barracks and as well as a slinger, and it's going to be hard. There's a single slinger that's gone down. Let's take a look at the unit kills so far. 2 units from Trees have been killed and no units from Pair has been killed. Only some lost wood cutting time. The slinger's going to go down as well. And these heavy infantry left over.
At least the lake is a peaceful place.
Yeah, that's true. Let's take a look at the lake, actually. The Americans player is banking a ton of resources. This is really bad. You really want to make some more fish, and in fact has overproduced citizens. And let's quickly talk about the rares, because we haven't yet. For the AZ side, they have wine, they have furs, they have obsidian, and that's it. There's spice, maybe. On the other side, for the AS team, they've got spice, there's silk here, and there's silver, which Mad Duelist X secured, and as well as bison. I think clearly the rares favor AS, but mainly because of silver.
There's also this raid by Master Cannon on Language of Trees Woodcamp.
Yeah, and this is gonna really hurt. A slinger and an archer really doing a number against the wood income. I mean, look at Trees' wood income, only plus 10. That's really gonna hurt. Also, he used all those resources early on to try to deal damage to Ether Pair, but it's not gonna work out. Here we see Sheer is doing an excellent job microing, targeting the weakened units. Gonna take some damage from this bowman now, though. Run away now.
Okay, so the pair sent one boat already in the lake, so fun starts also in the water.
Yeah, although I'm doing a bad job, it's kind of just sitting there. Should really be attacking one of these fishing ships. On this side,
I have to give you credit, man. I mean, despite of the raid you were having on, I mean, you repelled it successfully, so you have some land troops. I mean, you're still going into the lake. I mean, that's real nice, man.
Yeah, and I think that kind of speaks to the importance of being fast in this game, especially, Nomad is considered one of the slower formats, but it is really important to be fast. Here we see Shirlu as an archer unnecessarily, but now this heavy infantry is probably going to get run down. If Trees is up against any of the other players aside from maybe Iroquois, if Trees is up against any random nation that's not fast, that's not like Germans fast, then I think, this player across from him just dies. But because Germans and Japanese have a similar speed, it's really hard to say, a mill 1 first will just outright kill your opponent. Although, I mean, I think it was good to throw pressure on the German capital.
Well, and you can clearly see the advantage you took over Language of Trees by repelling that attack by the score. I mean, look at the score. All your team is already pretty much double ahead.
Yeah, and we do see here Sheer continuing the raids on this wood camp. This wood camp's just done no good for Trees, unfortunately. Really has no other wood camp. Has gone for Civic 1 to try and get that city going to protect these units, but there's a lot of military units from Sheer and Ether Pair here, and it feels like Trees' teammates have kind of left him out to dry. There's very few, sure, Amun's economy is booming along, but there's come on, you gotta pick some units to help your teammate who's currently dying.
Yeah, that's pretty fantastic what Master Can did, because I was totally wondering where he was going to build next, like his second city. That will make a whole difference in the game. But he started with the barracks. I mean, and his raid, he's already doing that destructive job with the second city of Language of Trees, and that's not only as bad as it gets in the game, but so demoralizing. Like they don't let you finish the damn city. It's horrible.
Yeah. All right, so finally the city of Language of Trees goes up. I mean, look at that economy. It's just really, really poor at this point. And it feels like, I on one part, Trees was a little, like, he should have stopped making units and gotten commerce, and then started making more units, instead of making that last heavy infantry. But I blame this on Amun mostly. Look at him. He's floating so many resources. Could have made a bunch of archers or slingers to help Trees maybe recover, but now Trees is way behind, nowhere close to aging. It's 10 minutes, 30 seconds into the game. Really, really tough. I see somebody anonymously said... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Amun's help was very limited. I mean, in all that raid, in all that scenario, he sent maybe one archer, one slinger, but it was not that much.
Yeah, it's just, like he kind of left his teammate out to dry, and now we see Ethan Paris gone for commerce too. I'm a greedy boy. I mean, I see water, I see fishing ships, I see silk. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna come too. And that economy is booming along. Gonna put down a grader as well.
Germans having silk is pretty much like Chinese having papyrus.
Yeah.
Such a call to go science or commerce too also.
Yeah, we do see here the Americans player is going to go for Despot. I don't really like this choice very... I was going to say I don't like this choice, but actually I think it's okay, because, clearly Language of Trees is way behind on that side. You really just want to kill Namillo as fast as possible at this point.
It's time to raise the stakes to me. I mean, he's going also in a fast attack to try to get mild duelist, because Language of Trees will not survive for long, so they have to make the difference right now. I mean, they have to turn the tables and fast.
Yeah, that's definitely
how they're reasoning.
Yeah, and this is going to be really tough for Language of Trees to hold off a currently. I mean, look at the economy difference. The Germans player is already aged. Japs player is still very far from aging. Only plus 50 would to plus 142. I mean, Trees is just really, really far behind at this point. And it's gonna, I would like to see them just like. At this point, Trace is pretty much dead. I would like to see Moham and Amun just like go all in on this side, try to kill Namillo straight up, and then 2v2. I think that's the only way they have a chance here. It looks like the Greeks player has gone for Despot. Interesting choice there. Gonna go for an aggressive push, it seems, but I think actually this is all right with Greeks. You can get that commerce too fairly easily, also with silk. So your economy is not like entirely crippled, and you have extra knowledge usually on this map because you have so much wealth coming in. But it's definitely an interesting choice. We see a barracks here from Sheer. This is an excellent choice, although he needs to get the scout forward just so you can see what's happening on that side.
Okay, so yeah, Moham is starting building up a little army. So, yeah, I'm actually curious, because definitely this spot is what is going to make the difference. I mean, that spot between Itapur and Language of Trees and Mastercan is pretty much defined. I don't know how long it will take, but Language of Trees is behind. I mean, his teammates help them, of course. But yeah, at least Amun is getting ready, helping with a tower over there.
Yeah, and I think Moham needs to start queuing sieges soon. Otherwise, his rush is going to be really late. It does infinite queue sieges, which is a good choice. And on this side, I'm going to point out a nice little play I made for myself. I only have a +6 mountain in my territory, but Germans, you can build a smelter without any science research. So I've got that smelter going. Now I have +110 metal income, which is more acceptable than the I think 70 that I had before. And there's still battles over water. Water is being traded back and forth, but it does look like AZ have lost a bit of control. There are 2 triremes and a bark coming out now. And now we see there's a lot more units from Moham. But actually, there's a decent Iroquois army here, and Moham's going to have to run away a bit. The micro's not really there. He's just moving away. He could be picking off some of these units as he runs, just trading out, but currently he's just running away. The catapult's now exposed, going to get run down by this light horse. Just some poor micro from Moham here.
Hey, let me ask you a question, because something that I just noticed right now. You decided to skip science. why did you decide to skip science?
I just never had resources. I mean, looking back on it, I should have gone for science at some point, but I just never had resources. Also, the despots for me is coming out.
Yeah, but well, I mean, you're also fighting the lake. I mean, all the resources of wood went into the boats, I suppose.
Yeah. And I see in the chat, Tian Tian, who's trees, says, "Where else can I find wood?" Yeah, I mean, it's really tough. I think you really needed Amun to come to your help in this game, because you can't do much if your only wood is here on the far side. That's very exposed. You can't do much unless your ally helps you out. Although Trees is doing an all right job, but this is a 15-minute age, really not ideal, especially compared to the German player who now has a despot, has a decent-sized army, going to start sieging.
Okay, the troops started moving also, down the map. However, I mean, we have the combined troops. What? So Master Khan also came to this side. Wait, so
yeah, Master Khan has been splitting the units. There's a single barracks that he used for early raids on the top side, but on the bottom side, he's got a barracks and a stable. Seems like the main army is concentrated there. Again, going to snipe these sieges. Moham just leaving the sieges exposed. And that's going to completely cripple this rush. Both sieges at this point, 3 sieges have gone down, and it's this is excellent use of the light cavalry, the light horse. Moham does have a lot of units, but units are no good if you can't translate them to value at this point. And
of course, with a good micro in this case.
Yeah.
I don't understand why Duelist kept being a little bit shy, on that. I mean, he had with all the 3 knights, they could easily wipe those archers, but he decided to retreat. I mean, he was.
Yeah, it's a bit off. I think he's trying not to lose units because he's aging, which makes sense. Also going to get Commerce 2 very soon. Now going to upgrade to crossbows and heavy horses, and that's going to be the stop to aggression on this side. And here we see Eat the Bear has a lot of units. There's 2 towers which are really good. Amun finally helping out, going to put down a single tower, and also has some units himself. And Trees is trying his best, going to put up the Senate there. I mean, at this point, it's really hard to say what Trees should do. The economy is completely crippled because he has very few citizens, and it's just it needs to have these militia here to not lose the city outright. And Paris just taking his time. Yeah.
Actually, so Amun went to help Trees. So there are two of them. So in the lower side, it is Duelist also trying, fighting too. But nonetheless, excuse me. Master Khan and Duelist together against only the American player.
Yeah.
Well, I think they could be a little bit more aggressive in here. I mean, they have a total aggressive stance and the total advantage in it.
Yeah, that's true. I would like to see an ambush from either. Well, as we know, Iroquois, the ambush doesn't work, but I would like to see an ambush from Mad Duelist. Has the better army at this point and probably can sneak in and pick off a bunch of units before the Americans player ages, which he actually looks very far from doing so.
But now that I see, for example, Master Khan is going back towards Tree City. These seconds, because it has happened to me in some other games, when you are the player who has to switch, has to go from one side to the other, what to do, help to defend, help to attack. I mean, these seconds that he's moving his army from Athens all the way up, I mean, I think he could have made way more damage helping Red. I mean, at once.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not really sure why he rotated, if I remember correctly, but it is going to end up working out because it looks like Para is going to lose this fight to all these militia from Trees.
Yeah, there are so many.
And this is good from Trees. I think the Despot choice is a good choice here. Senator's not really any good. I mean, the healing's good, but Senator's not really any good if you don't have the plus 150 eco, which at this point, it's going to be really hard to get to. I mean, he's struggling to get more than plus 20 wood. But Despot can give you free plunder at this point. Now here we see Master Khan is here to give Eat the Pair back the advantage on this side.
Okay, so yeah.
So it ended up being worth it. It ended up not being a waste of time to rotate, but it did feel like they could have pushed on the bottom side.
I think American players, America as a nation and Moham, for the times that I have played with him, he could have done like a lot more here. I don't know why, he actually aged well, as we saw at the before, that he was sort of in a rush, right? Like to turn the tables, to make some damage. But he aged without civic, without science, and it just put him back anyways, I think.
Yeah, now we see Mastercon's gonna age, and I don't think they're gonna be able to hold the city of Kyoto anymore. The city is lost. It's taken by Mastercon, who stole my capsack.
Oh yeah. At the same time down. And yeah.
Yeah. On the bottom side, we see Mad Duelist, who's done a good move, pulling all the militia to just make sure he wins this fight. And GG is called Trees Resigns.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt like this game, it felt like AZ just had the unfortunate positioning. We saw Trees with a poor wood camp, only +5, and that's far away from his capital, unfortunately. And then we saw they had some rares that were kind of met, like compared to their opponents. We saw a really nice early Civ from Namillo getting silver. But I will say that's not to say they don't have their own fair share of flops there as well. We saw Amun kind of leave his teammate out to dry, not making any units when Trees was clearly taking a lot of economic damage. And we saw I saw in the chat, we see here Master 8 says, Joven says USA with Despot is so bad. Yeah, I agree. Despot is really bad. I don't fault Moham for trying to make something happen because he knows Trees is in a really desperate spot, but ultimately the micro was not there, his ally was not there, and so he got 2v1'd and taken out.
I give my thumbs up to Master Can in this match, because that raid on Trees,
yeah, that was
just
devastating.
Killed him.
Yeah, he was, yeah. Really nice play. I agree. I would give the MVP in this game to Mastercon, definitely. Really just put pressure on Trees on this side, dealt a lot of economic damage, and on the bottom side, helped Namillo hold off Moham for a little bit until Namillo was able to upgrade the units and then easily win that side. To respond to some people in the chat, Master 8 says, I ran to the bottom to ensure Greeks won't be killed by Despot, yep, and ran back to kill the late H2 cap. That's fair, yeah. I guess you want to, at this point, Namillo is ahead, so you want to, at that point, you can leave Namillo alone and go top.
Yeah, but it's also what Spyroton says, about America. It all depends on the scenario. Sure, it gives you the standard advantage, how you can take advantage of it. But sometimes you can't. You just are not able to it because, the situation is demanding you to do something different or to do sometimes even something that is not that does not give you an advantage. So yeah, you have to adapt, I guess, to the situations. And yeah, I also agree with you. This was a very unfortunate position for the AZ guys. So yeah, the dice were rolling. Unfortunate for you guys.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the game stats quickly. Nothing too surprising here. We do see Namillo with the most knowledge collected as well. Yeah, it's just this game felt like an unfortunate draw for AZ. Whereas game one, it felt like that was they had a very good draw in terms of rares and stuff, but they ultimately blew it. So that is going to be it for this match. That means AS definitely wins their group, and AZ are now 1 and 2, but they're not out of it. They have the deciding match in this division is going to be between underrated champions and AZ or 4bidden4, which is, I don't know. Trees, are you still in the chat? Have you played have you played this match yet? Obviously no spoilers, but have you played 4bidden4 versus 4bidden4 versus underrated champions? Because that is the last match that will determine Division 3.
Oh man, by the way, a parenthesis in here. Congratulations also. You were the biggest food collector. What else? Timber collector.
Yeah, thank you. I really pride myself on my timber gathering.
It was a good game for you. You took advantage of all the German power. So what we were saying before, Unfortunately, Mad Duelist, no, I'm sorry, Moham wasn't able to fully scream, the power of Americans, while you, on the other hand, had all the way open to scream it, and you did well.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. So Oldie is now finally here. Hold on. Hi, Oldie. I'm gonna call you. Hey, I'm gonna call you back with the group chat that we have with Quetzal really quick.
All right.
Folks, so we're currently deciding if we want to do another match because that one was a bit short. Hey guys, so we're deciding if we want to do another match because that ended in 2-0. So
okay, sure. Let me see what I got.
Do you want to take a look? All right, folks, we're gonna take a 5-minute break. See if you want to stick around, go ahead. After 5 minutes, we will announce if we're continuing the stream or not. We haven't decided yet.
Well, I welcome you all. Welcome, man. Nice you made it. And at the same time, I actually say goodbye, guys, because due to other commitments, I was waiting for Oldie to replace me. It was a pleasure as always, and good luck. Keep tuned, guys.
Thanks for sitting in, Quetzal. I appreciate you, bro.
Yep.
Yeah, no worries, man.
All right, bye-bye, Quetzal.
Thank you. Bye.
See you, buddy. Later. Bye.
All right, so for the viewers who are still here, we're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we will announce if we're casting another game. We haven't quite decided yet, so we will be back in a little bit. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome to the stream. We did just cast AZ versus AS. That match was a little short, so we've decided to bring to you another one. Today we're going to be casting, in addition to AS versus AZ, which was just cast, we're going to be casting Squatter Water versus SDO. Both of these teams have been eliminated, but because they have sent in their match ahead of time, we felt it would be right just to cast it because they deserve to see their games played. And props to them for finishing on time. Again, if your match will not matter for top 8 and you don't get it in by Monday, we will not cast it. So if you want your match cast, get it in by Monday. Again, that is the deadline. You should be aiming for that anyways. So we're going to be casting Squatter Water versus SDO. Both of these teams are out for top 8 contention. They're in Division 1. They're both 0-2. And so it's really interesting to see what sort of games these two teams play. Let's take a look at the teams and nations. So for Squatter Water, their team is Kimbo, Vuli, Greenlove, and Panda Warrior. And on the SDO side, we've got SDO Rocinante, Rowan Giko, and Jesus of Nazareth. I've actually played with I played with SDO recently a game, and they seem to have been improving a good amount. So I'm definitely interested to see what sort of game we'll see from both both teams here. Although I definitely do give the edge to Squatter Water. Some of their players seem just a little bit more seasoned and experienced, but that's not to count SDO out. We have seen them improve a good amount over the course of this tournament thus far.
Yeah, I agree. I would definitely give the edge to Squatter Water. I think they're a little more seasoned, but the SDO guys are definitely they're improving. Every time I've played with them, they've seemed to get a little better. So. Yeah,
definitely. Let's jump into the game now because I already talked about the nations earlier in the stream. Alright, I actually have the last game still open. Oops. Alright. This is going to be Squatter Water versus SDO. Game number 1. This one. Alright, so I'm at 1 second when you're ready, Oldie.
Ready.
Okay, 3, 2, 1... Go. All right, so this is a 3v3, awesome, and it is on Australian Outback, one of the more exciting maps. Let's take a look at the players and their nations. For the team of Squatter Water, we've got Vuli with Indians, Greenlove with Chinese, and Kimbo with Mongols. On the other side, for SDO, we've got Rowan Giko with Persians, Jesus of Nazareth with Aztecs, and Rocinante with Turks. This is actually really tough. I don't know who has the edge in nations. I think everybody's picked pretty good nations, aside from Chinese, really.
Yeah, and again, this is your favorite map. I do like the Mongols, like we talk about on this map, because you don't have to build so many farms. You can just be super fast. But Aztecs raiding that water is awesome.
Yeah.
And raiding the land, raiding all those rares.
Persians are really... Persians and Indians are both excellent.
Yeah, because you get those elephants with the gold and food. And the Turks, of course, there's not a lot of land mass. You can really get up on your opponent and rush. So this is going to be pretty even overall. Yeah, I'd probably get the slightest SCO because the Chinese pick not my favorite, but still pretty even, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely interested to see what sort of builds come out, especially from like the Turks player and the Aztecs player. I want to see if we can see some skipped civics and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm also, my eye's gonna be on Kimbo, who is Mongols. Mongols are insanely fast on this map. It's really hard to compare how fast they are on this map. And so definitely interested. I want to see what sort of builds come out from the Mongols player here. Yeah, Oldie, how have you been? We were not able to have you on stream for the first bit because you had another commitment.
Some obligations, so I fortunately had to be a little late, but it worked out because Quetzalcoatl was able to come in, so that was nice.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I see plenty of AS games, so I didn't really need to see it. No big deal.
All right, let's take a look at where the players have spawned on the. Looks like the map is divided left and right. So on the top right side, we see the orange Indian player Vuli, who's currently, I don't know, sleeping. I don't know what he's not spending resources for. The green Chinese player Greenlove, one of the more seasoned players in this team.
For sure.
On the bottom left side, bottom right side, there's Kimbo, the purple Mongols player.
Yep.
Kimbo's facing off against the blue Aztecs player, Jesus of Nazareth. In the pockets, there's SDO Rocinante, the red Turks player. And on the top side, there's the yellow Persian player, SDO Rowan G. Ko. I think this sort of setup definitely favors the team of Squatter Water. You know, Mongols, you with this such a fast start, being really close to your opponent means you can probably deal a lot of economic damage early on if you wanted to. And Aztecs, you know, they don't have any bonuses early on that make them super fast necessarily. But once they get a couple kills, they can snowball, so it's definitely going to be an interesting matchup here.
Yeah, and being super close here to the Mongols, so it's going to hurt their food bonus a little bit. Not enough to really change anything.
Yeah, 3 farms instead of 2, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. But you're still going to see some pretty good aggression. Kimball's a pretty aggressive player anyways, so my guess is he's going to want to get aggressive over here and put the Aztec player in his heels. He hasn't quite scouted that out yet, so I'd like to see Kimball get over there and check out what's going on with him. Especially when you see that border push there, you want to get over there as soon as possible and start checking out your opponent, see what he's up to.
Yeah, it looks like the team of SDO have pinged out Kimbo's woodcutter camp. I actually would like to see Jesus just skip Jesus of Nazareth skip commerce and just go straight for mill and just try and raid this wood camp because it is a bit exposed. You really want to slow down the Mongol player as much as you can. A Mongol player is going to put down the library already. Actually built a 4th farm, which he didn't need. But, you know, muscle memory, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Just muscle memory. It's not going to hurt him too much. He's still going to be able to mill one as soon as this library is done.
Yeah, or commerce or whatever he wants to do.
Whatever he wants, yeah.
Yeah, let's take a look at the ruin bonuses really quick. Looks like Vuli and Rowan have unfortunately both gotten 0 ruins. I'm not sure if that's because they're not scouting or just poor luck. And everybody else has gotten very scarce ruins as well. Let's take a look at the scouting, actually. Looks like both teams are kind of doing a meh job. It looks like SDO has done a slightly better job, but they're all not scouting with too many citizens. Usually it's fine on this map, but you do want a good amount of scouts. Just make sure you see everything. Also interested to see...
They are doing a good job scouting Kimbo, though, so that's nice. They're opening it up, seeing what he's got over there.
Yeah, let's talk about the rares quickly. For this team of Squatter Water, they've got Pappy and Copper right next to Kimbo's territory. There's Marble and Peacocks near Greenlove's territory, as well as Wool. On the top side, there's Salt for Vuli and Tobacco, as well as Silver right next to his wood camp. Those are all pretty good rares. In the center, there's Citrus. There's Obsidian, which is kind of contestable, closer to Kimbo, I guess. And for SDO, they have Gems on the back left side of Techno Titulan. There's Spice on the bottom right side. There's Wine, Dye. What else is there? There's Furs, that's a good rare, as well as Relics and Diamonds. And as well as Cotton. Okay, so let's think about this. And there's Horses as well. Wow, actually. So in terms of better rares, I think I would give the edge to SDO for a shorter game. You know, Diamonds is quite good. Gems is a pretty solid aggressive rare. Furs, Horses, Wine, those are all pretty good aggressive rares, as well as Cotton.
Yeah, Horses is great for Persians, get those cheaper elephants. Wine also, because you get the cheaper elephant upgrades when you get to Classical. So, we're seeing Aztecs are going mill 1 now.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice. You just want to put pressure. Yeah. This barracks position is a little off. You want to put it as forward as possible, especially with the city from Rocinante, who's actually gone for Civic first. I think that's not a super great choice. Usually on this map, you go for Commerce first, so you can fish immediately. But, it is going to give a good amount of territory position, and also going to hurt the Mongol food income a little bit. We do see here Kimbo's already going to start putting out fishing ships, as is Greenlove. And
I'm kind of surprised Kimbo went Civ here. I thought he'd be more aggressive. So now he's got the Turks and the Aztec barracks coming up. He is Mongol, so he'll be able to go mill here shortly. So it's not going to hurt him too bad.
Yeah, here I would like to see, if you're going mill like this, you got to make a couple more units. Would like to see another heavy infantry and an auto coming from Jesus of Nazareth. But does rally the first unit over, which is a good choice. Gonna get commerce up. So it looks like this is not going to be super committed, but I would like to see him make us some more units. Because when you invest in military early like this, it's really important that you get up... that you get some damage done, or at least slow your opponent down a little bit.
Yeah, and a single auto is easily killed by all these villagers right here.
Yeah, the villagers are pulled. Let's see if so Jesus of Nazareth is doing a decent job microing them backward, and Kimbo's going to lose a little bit of mining time. Doesn't quite have enough wood for we'll have enough wood barely for a barracks, but Kimbo's done a good job just pulling exactly the amount of villagers that he needs to drive these autos off. And Jesus of Nazareth doesn't have any more units, has gone for commerce, and is putting down a dock. So, he's just a little slower, gonna not have a second city, basically, if he skips Civ, but it's alright. He's still doing okay. And maybe that auto can
getting the barracks
cause some
now,
damage.
so he'll probably do some counter raiding.
Yeah, looks like Kimbo's gonna be fine. This barracks in a solid position right in the center, can reinforce both the cities. And also, I think this terrain really favors the Mongol player. There's only like a couple little paths for units to go through, so it's going to be hard to rush, especially from the Turk player, who's actually gone for some farms. This is a bad choice. Really, on this map, you want to be fishing. You really don't want to be building farms, because all these wood. Yeah, you have so many fish in the back. We do see Rocinante is going to go for a dock now. But now
a great city here from Greenlove, being the Chinese player. This is one of the big advantages for Chinese, is having that instant large city. You can see it just sucking up all of this land.
Yeah, definitely. Gonna capture horses, a central position to attack and defend from. Now Rocinante has to be careful about his capital as well as the front city. Whereas Greenlove can just concentrate defenses here.
Those large cities are just so many more hit points. I mean, even without 2,500 hit points is huge. Even for Turkish siege, that takes a while to minimize that. And then science upgrades are cheap for Chinese. Get a temple down, just makes the city more strong. So this is just a great position. This is a bad spot for SDO. I don't like this setup at all.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough to, especially crack the Chinese player who has such a scary position in the center, and also the Mongol player who is still quite fast. And the Mongol player has made a couple of units just to make sure he won't die to any sort of raids. I'm wondering where's the auto from earlier? I think it must have been killed off for Jesus of Nazareth. Oh, it's actually garrisoned in the city.
Yeah, he looked for, he was going to raid, nothing came of it, so he just brought it back.
Yeah.
Which is not ideal. I'd like to see Aztecs in the water now, at least 1 or 2 bars.
Yeah, we see Vuli gonna start raiding diamonds. This is gonna be a pretty painful rush, and I don't know what Rowan's doing. He's pulling all the citizens to kill this hoplite. I don't know if he can actually.
He can't. It's just an overreaction. Just a lack of experience play here.
Yeah. So when you get raided early like this, what you want to do is you just want to get your wood income up and put down a barracks, and then you may lose some merchants, but you don't want to fight citizens on hoplites. That's a really
that's a bad matchup. Yeah. You could go take 2 citizens, fight off those 2 slingers, garrison 2 citizens, and let all the other ones continue working, and then that's all you need to do. Just try and draw the hoplites to the city fire.
We do see a barracks gonna go down, but I mean, let's look at the kills quickly. Rowan's going to lose a lot of units from this costly exchange. 6 citizens killed. I think one of those was a merchant. Just kidding. But it's still dying. This hoplite still has a third of its health. Citizens are really bad against hoplites. Basically, you can just target fire these slingers.
Yeah, he's going to stop building the barracks to go try and fight. This is a big mistake.
Yeah, let's take a look at the bottom side. It does look like Greenlove is trying to deny the city, but Rocinante with an excellent rotation. Nice move there, going to be able to pick off this hoplite from Greenlove.
Yep. Yeah, good defense there. But Greenlove's already took the position. So.
Yeah, let's take a look at the economies here. Looks like the Turkish player is going to go age. Greenlove, I wonder what Kimbo's doing. Kimbo just delayed the age for no reason. I don't know why. He has 200 food floating. No need to wait for the age. And on this side, Vuli's just absolutely destroying Rowan's woodcutter camp. Rowan now finally has some units, 3 archers, but the economy has been slowed down quite a bit. And Vuli, is much closer to aging than Rowan is.
Yes, definitely they're slower.
The Aztec player has made a good amount of units, but these units are no good if you don't use them. Gonna finally move them up and out, but it's not gonna find much. Maybe if you snuck them around to the back, could do something. Kimbo finishes aging, and Rocinante does finish aging as well. See a mine going up. So far, these players, nothing too fancy. No Com 2s, no no fancy builds like that. Green love also ages.
Yep.
And this
It
temple
looks
being
like,
good again, pushing territory, just being
Nice
really
little
annoying.
exchange up here. Wooly's bringing a nice little army in to harass Rowan.
Yeah, and Rowan still has to pump out more units, more and more units. Very far from aging now. These slingers are pretty good against the archers that Rowan seems to be spamming. Should just garrison the archers right into that tower, and then it will be good. But these units are very weak. It looks like Wooly doesn't pick this really weakened archer off. But the tower does finally go up. Now, Rowan is pretty far behind, but can at least breathe a sigh of relief for a little bit. The raid's over, not going to die. At least for the moment.
For the moment, yeah.
But we do see Wooly going to age up. That's going to be really bad for the SDO players because, you know, Rowan is quite far behind. I'm going to go for another tower here. I think this is a solid choice, but I think he also should just get science. And also get that food income up a little higher. Let's take a look here at what the Mongol player is going for. Going to go for Senator. I'm just playing standard. No need to rush it, really. Get it. Because, you know, you don't want him rushing. A bit of a mistake. Has 2 merchants queued here, but whatever. On this side, Green Love also seems to be going for Senator. Another good choice. You know, they're just playing it safe. No need to... They have the advantage in terms of territory. No need to panic or do anything crazy here. Still no government from Rocinante, who has gone Mill 2. Looks like he's going to get a bit aggressive.
Yeah, that's the right move. You're Turks. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And they are using diamonds, so that's nice. Got a decent little income.
Yeah, and here we see a bit of a raiding party from Jesus of Nazareth. Gonna try to snipe off this senator, but the bribe's gonna finish, I believe. Yeah, but he gets it trades 100 wealth for an archer, for killing an archer and taking an archer, and also all these pot shots. I think that was not worth it for Jesus of Nazareth. But now there's a light horse here, and that could make a difference from Rocinante. The light horse is an excellent unit if used correctly, and there is a siege factory. I do really like this building positioning from Kimbo. Just having the Senate and the university in front blocking this passage is an excellent choice. No heavy infantry rushes, nothing of that sort.
No science from Turks, so there's no way he can go into the water either to come around.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Just a nice, the natural barrier of the water, the trees. But these Turkish siege do have that excellent range, so they're going to be able to fire over this forest.
Yeah, and that turns these building placement from Kimbo into a liability because, you know, if Rocinante just like sieges and just kills all these buildings, you know, that's good enough damage. That's a bunch of farms down the drain, the library, the Senate, the university, all these protected buildings. And, you know, Kimbo's forced to just station an army here so he doesn't lose the capital randomly. But I think that could be quite an effective tactic. I would like to see Rocinante get Senate or get Republic because he currently doesn't have a government. On this side, Green Love's just booming away, you know, he's sitting back, you know, doesn't have that many units quite yet. Has a cataphract, some other random units, but just sitting back for a bit. The Aztec player, let's see, doesn't have a government either, doesn't look like. Would like to see Senator. It looks like this game's not going to end particularly soon. And on this side, the Persian player is finally going to age at some point.
Rocinante's still no government, right?
Yeah, neither Rocinante or Jesus of Nazareth have governments.
Yeah. That's a big mistake here.
Yeah, at this point, if you're not gonna get a government, at this point you should just get Senator, because at this point the strength of Despot has kind of worn off. We do see our Kimbo with a decent army. Green Love gonna come down to help. I would like to see Rocinante start sieging the other random like buildings and stuff, like not the Senate, but the farms, the library, the lookout, the university.
Yep, it looks like that's what he's gonna start doing. Unfortunately, he's doing the Senate, but that's not what you want to raise. Everything but the Senate.
Yeah, looks like we do see here Despot from the Aztecs player. I mean, whatever. Aztec Senator is better, but no.
Well, if you're going to be aggressive, go all in. I do love that bonus plunder. It is nice.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have a bit of an engagement here between Kimbo and Rocinante. Kimbo's trying to target fire the sieges, but actually, I don't really like this choice. I think Rocinante should have fought it out a little bit and protected these sieges so they can move back, and then and then retreated. You know, because
Well, Kimbo should have just let him finish raising his Senate for him, and then go in.
yeah, that's
It's
true.
almost raised. You know, why
Looks
not?
like that trade ultimately benefited ultimately benefited Kimbo the most. What the archers were not exposed at any point, and actually Kimbo's quite close to aging. Greenlove says I'll go 90s capital, and that's going to be a bit scary. There's only a single tower here to protect. Turkish player still no government. Really needs senator. It really needs Republic to get it rolling to start doing something. Government's really, really important. Kimbo's going to go for Colossus. That's a bit of a gutsy choice, but yeah, what works for you, I guess.
Yep. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I think he feels comfortable at this point. We'll see, because he did a good job. He took out most of the Turkish siege. And here's Rocinante still he's trying to help raise that Senate. He really wants to take that Senate out with his archers.
Yeah,
So,
just pecking away at it, you know,
yep.
dealing 1 damage
Almost
per hit.
there.
No problem.
Yep. Almost there, almost there. 110 more.
Yeah, on this side, you know, I actually am not super impressed with Vuli's play on this side. We did see a good, that raid early on that caused a ton of damage, but I don't know, like if you compare the economies, actually, Rowan's still doing a decent job considering he aged really, really late compared to Vuli. Vuli, I feel like he just hasn't, he's invested a lot in knowledge, it looks like, but the other economy is not like there. No, not enough food, not enough wealth.
Yeah, Vuli's just being very passive too. No elephants. Not
Yeah,
sure why
and
that
this
is.
looks like, I don't
Because
think
you
this.
have one now.
Yeah, this looks like we see 1 elephant. Yeah, to me it looks like it's just not managing your resources well. Because you could have a lot more economy or army at this point. You know, you were really far ahead of the Persian player here, but you know now you're like whatever. These are a lot of archers from the Persian player though. Going to upgrade to archers, bowmen to archers, and that's. But these elephants are really good against archers.
Yes, extremely effective.
And it looks like Rocinante's capital is taken by Greenlove, who has a decent-sized army.
It's
Jesus
a Persian
Nazareth's going to
capital,
come
so-
in to try and help, but these units are not upgraded against the well, not really upgraded army for Greenlove either, but Greenlove's army is much larger.
Yeah, this is looking not looking good here.
Yeah, definitely.
And here comes Kimbo to come in, and is he gonna come sit at the cap?
Yeah, it looks like Kimbo's going to seal the deal. This is a pretty large army.
Yeah. Yeah, all they gotta do is sit at Istanbul. It's not a very large timer, under
Yeah.
3 minutes. I think we got a GG here.
Yeah, we're going to see GG pretty soon, it looks like, because the team of Squatter Water is quite far ahead at this point of their opponents. If you look at the score, they're nearly 1,000
Yeah.
points ahead.
And Greenlove age, so that automatically makes the Istanbul large, which pretty much triples the hit points.
Actually, I'm not sure why the city's still small. If you're Chinese, shouldn't it turn large immediately?
No, once it assimilates, it's more large.
Oh, okay. Alright, well, it does turn large, and that's also going to be large with hit points, so it looks like they're not going to be able to take out that city anytime soon, especially with
Yeah.
Kimbo coming in with the big army. This looks like it's going to be GG.
Yeah. Yep. It's definitely going to be GG. And yeah, with to comment on the large city thing. So if you're in age 3 and you take an age 2 city that has 5 buildings that are not military buildings, then it will automatically go large.
Okay.
If you're in age 2 still, obviously, and then you go to age 3, it will go large, and plus it'll get the bonus hit
health,
points
yeah.
or whatever. Yeah. If you're Chinese, it only goes large once it fully assimilates into a small city.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Unless it's got the building, unless you're Chinese in age 3, and then you have the 5 buildings, then it'll go large. But
Okay, that makes sense.
Chinese, yeah.
Fun trivia
Yeah.
fact from Oldie here. Looks like this game is going to be over. There's no way they can put up enough army.
Yeah, it's GG coming in from Rowan. And that's gonna
Rowan's also losing on this side. There's a pretty big Indian army here. And look at this queue here from Rowan.
Yeah.
Really need, you know, Rowan, if you're queuing up units like this, just make another production building or two. GG is called. Yeah, so we saw some slops from all sides, but ultimately, I think it was just Greenlove sealed the deal with the forward city positioning. as well as the aggressive play on Rocinante's capital. I think that really sealed the deal for them.
Yeah. And SDO still not quite there with their skills yet, but you can tell they're getting better slowly. A couple blunders here and there. Not horrible play, but definitely a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah, definitely. SDO, I hope you guys are out there looking at this replay and thinking about what we've said and how you can improve. Let's jump into game number 2, shall we?
Yep.
I'm updating the score quickly. Now we're back here. All right. Game number 2 of Squatter Water versus SDO.
Unfortunately, it looks like a 2v2.
Yeah. I hope you guys got permission from Connor for this. Anyways, I'm at 1 second, ready when you are.
Yeah, ready.
3, 2, 1, go. All right, so let's take a look at the players, their nations, and the map. This looks like Southwest Mesa to me. And players, so unfortunately this is a 2v2. Nations-wise, Greenlove has Lakota, Vuli has French, whereas on the SDO side, Jesus of Nazareth has Bantu, and SDO Rocinante has Nubians. I think clearly Squatter Water has a better pick of nations. French and Lakota are insanely good aggressive nations.
Oh yeah.
And Bantu and Nubians, neither of those nations is particularly fast unless Rocinante can luck out with some excellent rares in this territory. So it's
it's a bad. This is a great map for Lakota as long as you micro well. Micro your units around, find all the little ruins. There's actually a ton of ruins on this map. It's just hard to get around with these stupid cliffs. But yeah, I think, like you said, French Laco together, that's just going to be deadly if they can find these two and just hunt them down.
Yeah. Really interested to see if maybe the Bantu player could get some raids going. That would probably be quite a good, if he can find maybe the Lakota player's wood camp or something. That would probably be really, really good. But in terms of speed, Lakota are by far the fastest, so it's going to be really hard.
And the thing is too, as we've seen, SDO just aren't quite that experienced. So if this map takes an insane amount of microing, so you really need to be efficient because in a lot of flat maps you can just send to a waypoints, like we'll see, and it's very easy. You could send your raiders to a waypoint, you can send your merchants, but in this map that's not always the case.
That's
the merchant
true.
might get caught up somewhere. Your hot blade might just be running around in circles for 5 minutes and you don't even realize it. So it's like you have to really pay attention to the micro.
That is true, especially with your merchants and stuff. I think that's the biggest one.
Because it could be something so dumb, like they just need to go to the right rather than to the left, and instead they're just kind of hovering or be stuck right on the cliff edge, and it's just like if you're not paying attention.
Rise of Nations micro.
Yeah, but I kind of like it though because on a map like this, that's something. It's another variable for your skills. You have to just more micro. Yeah, it might be annoying, but you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, and here we see Rocinante. I'm gonna go for farms early. So Rocinante, for if you're here or eventually watch this. Here's a tip. So with Nubians, your build order at the very beginning is very different. What you do is you put down a market instead of any farms, and you put down a woodcutter camp, and then you just use the rares that you and your allies have. Usually you want to go for food rares and timber rares, and wealth rares, but mostly food rares as much as you can. And that usually, you might put down your library a little bit later than usual, but you've pretty much sped up your time of putting out merchants earlier on. So you get your market down, you put some merchants out, and then if you start putting down farms as well, because usually you don't have enough food rares to get to plus 70 food, but usually you can skip on you get to. It basically speeds you up a little bit, and also gets your merchants out on the map as soon as possible, so you can gather wealth and stuff. Also, if you get to 100 wealth, you usually want to buy food or timber, because wealth is not super useful early on in the game, and Nubians do have that power of being of having nice trading plus 20 minus 20 price bonus, which is quite a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, that was my PSA. Also for any players in the chat.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, there's the only rare exceptions. If you just absolutely have no rares, maybe you would go more a standard build. But even then, it's tough to do because you get that gold income, and you can always buy and sell. So it's nice to have that as early as possible. And you can see the Nubian still hasn't have a market up. And you have gold rare in your territory, so that's
Yeah, die right next to you.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And then you got spice up top for you get that plus 15 food. So just yeah.
Yeah. Just a
have-
lesson for next time, I guess.
Yep.
If we take a look at where the players have spawned, Jesus of Nazareth is on the top side, pretty close to the Lakota player. I think that actually favors the Bantu player. Usually Lakota, your capital, you want it as far back as you can, safe away from your opponents, and then put the front city wherever you want. But having the Bantu capital and the Lakota capital close together, I think that favors the Bantu player slightly
it definitely does. I mean, the one thing advantage of the Lakota is you really never know where his wood's going to be unless you scout it really well, because there are no farms to raid. So it's not like you can go and harass his farms.
Yeah, but it does look like the SDO team has done a good job scouting. I've already scouted the woodcutter camp of Greenlove.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
can
that's
force
huge.
an early mill.
Yeah, that's huge if he can get in there and harass that. A little unfortunate spot for Greenlove here. He's going to have to be aggressive himself probably. And
Gonna go for commerce first.
Yeah, those Bantu spearmen, man, they're a pain in the butt. They're so fast,
Yeah.
and they just really harass.
Let's take a look at the ruins bonuses. Vuli actually has 150, and Greenlove has a paltry 75. That's terrible for a Lakota player. I'm not really sure what happened. Either dumb luck or not scouting well enough. That must explain why he's so slow. Only 54 food income at this point in the game. Vuli has the most with 150 as a French player.
Yeah, it looks like he's just not scouting that much. Yeah, let's see. It looks like maybe only three Lakota scouts, and the rest are just gathering wood. Typically, you want at least 6, between 6 and 9 is a good number.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was it. He just not scouted, not enough scouts. It's a 2 vs 2 map. You could probably get away with 6 scouts. It would be just plenty enough.
Yeah. Do you see the market coming out from Jesus of Nazareth? If you compare the economies, actually, Jesus of Nazareth is doing slightly better with at least the food income. Greenlove does have the speed on the merchants. Let's talk about the rares quickly. So for the team of Squatter Water, they've got tobacco and furs on the right. Those are both pretty good aggressive rares. Tobacco with the wealth, obviously. On the bottom side, there's gems for the French player, as well as cotton. Those are good rares as well. And then there's horses in the center over there, as well as silk. This is pretty good aggressive rares, especially if they can get access to horses. On the other side for SDO, they've got spice and dye, as we said before, but they've also got relics on the bottom side and wool. And then on the right side, there's obsidian. And on the very top side, there's wine over there. So, I think clearly Squatter Water have the better share of rares, but not by that much. If Jesus of Nazareth with Bantu can sieve on relics and then sieve on horses, they probably have a better share of rares overall, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's right.
Looks like Jesus of Nazareth is going to go for mill first, as is the Lakota player. Lakota actually snuck in Science 1 first, had the resources to do so. There is a barracks coming up from both these players. It's going to be an epic confrontation, I think. On this side, the French player is just going to go Civ, and the Nubians player has actually gone Civ first. I think using die, I can't actually tell. They're going to throw down a city now.
Yeah, Nubian's using dye.
Yeah.
He's using dye and wine only. It looks like he does have a merchant going to spice right now, so his economy's going to get there. And he's in a back. I mean, it's actually a really good spot for the Nubian player. He can sit back and boom a little bit.
Yeah, this is a really hard position to rush into, because it's just a tiny opening. If you put your university there, they're not gonna.
Yeah.
The university and senate, as we saw in that last game, Kimbo putting senate and university there. It's gonna be really hard to rush that area.
Yeah, the only other option there would have to come down around the bottom. That's just a long way to go. Could be done, but it looks like the French players is just not really looking for mill right now. He's just doing Civ, kind of a standard build.
Yeah. We do
here
see
comes
here. Or sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying some heavy infantry coming out from Greenlove.
Yeah, and I would like to see Jesus of Nazareth be a tad more active with the these archers that he's made. When you go for mill early like this, you either want to inflict damage or catch their raiders. And I think catching their raiders would be good enough at this point, but he actually needs to make sure that he's actually, getting the moving the units towards moving them around, trying to catch any hoplites or slingers or anything that comes through. There's a tower going up at Makasika. I don't think that's a good choice. I think the tower should be at the wood camp in the back here for Greenlove. But Greenlove has also gotten Civ.
And Greenlove is looking for the wood, it looks like, with those hoplites. He might actually accidentally just run into those archers.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to back off for now. Just
Yeah.
running around a little bit. And this is a bit of a mistake from Greenlove. When you're in Lakota, you really want to make sure you scout your opponent well, i.e., like look in the back line and see, oh, there, like my opponent's wood is there. Is it vulnerable or not? Can I go mill first or not? You know, that sort of thing.
Well, he does see this. He could at least go for the wine if he wanted to.
Yeah, now we see this is going to be a bit of a confrontation between these hoplites and this archer, and hoplites and archer. Looks like Jesus of Nazareth is going to get the first shot off.
Yep.
Most likely not to lose any units. And Jesus of Nazareth has actually gone for 2 cities at once. Bit of a greedy play, but you know, it's going to work out. Going to sneak in but the city on the top and the city on the bottom, isolating the opponents for somewhat. And actually, look at Greenlove's second city way in the back here. How do you feel about this point?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be tough for his caravan. I guess his caravan can walk around the back, maybe.
Yeah. I think if he goes for this, he needs to sieve a little bit further back. This is a bit exposed. You know, the Bantu player can just run in from the side and take out your city. If you're going to put a back city like this, which is not a terrible choice, I think, just put it a little bit farther back. I know you're trying to protect Silk, but...
Yeah, exactly. And there's this alleyway's pretty open here. He could siege from the top of that cliff, too. So it's a pretty vulnerable spot. But,
looks like the French player has gone for Calm 2 before aging. Still no mill, actually. And this is a bit of a mistake from Rocinante. When you go for mill early like this, you gotta, like this. Be active with your units. Pressure. This is a good choice, sending out this hoplite. Probably should make out another... Oops. What did I do? Probably should make another archer or something. Because, you know, your opponent's currently just sitting back. Doesn't have mill yet. Gonna get mill now. Doesn't actually have wood for a barracks quite yet. And let's see what Rocinante can do with a single hoplite. It's good, but it's probably needed another unit or two to deal some serious damage.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that French economy. These hoplites are gonna start to be annoying on this side. Gonna target fire one of the citizens. And the Bantu raids continue, but these Bantu units are faster. Jesus of Nazareth doing good work to take advantage of the Bantu power. Just kind of running away because his units are much faster.
Hit and run. Yep, hit and run. That's what you gotta do.
Barrack's gonna come out from Vuli, but it's in the back, unfortunately for him. And this raid's gonna start to hurt a little bit. Let's take a look at how many units have been killed. So far, Rocinante's killed 2 units and Vuli's lost 2 units. You don't want to lose units like this early on. But the bowman is going to come out.
Yeah, I'm presuming he wants to go French Despot here. That's why he went for so this is going to definitely slow down that plan.
Another archer from Rocinante, who's also aging. Rocinante is using a bunch of rares, which is a good choice. Good job, Rocinante. If he goes Despot at this point, I would really like it. He should see that there are a bunch of farms for Vuli at this point. There are a bunch of farms there, and so, you know, when your opponent has extra farms, that's a clear sign that they've gone Calm 2, you know.
Yep. And that they don't have a lot of army because of all that wood. It could be used for, you know, military units or invested in the farms.
Nice tower from Vuli, protecting that horses back there.
Yep.
On the side, only now Rocinante has scouted horses, and Vuli's doing a decent job trying to hold off these bowmen. But again, a lot of units have been killed for the French player here.
Yeah, Vuli. Rocinante's just constantly harassing here. I like it.
Yeah, good job, Rocinante. Well played. Gonna kill that slinger. I was gonna say earlier this hoplite's not very useful, but actually it's forced out a lot of units from Vuli, who's had to make 2 slingers and an archer, and has also lost a couple citizens here and there. Bad choice from Vuli, I think, going for Science 1. There's just no need. If you're going to go for Calm 2 like this, you're going to be aggressive. Really no need to do that. And Rocinante is going to lose this merchant, actually, to a tower that's just finishing just outside of sight range. Bit unfortunate.
That is tough break.
If he moves away now, he probably could save it.
Yeah, because he's got the extra hit points.
Yeah.
And then
Gonna lose these units though to a tower. Bit of a mistake. The micro's not there. Needs to move them over here and then up and away.
Now Green Love is aged. Woolly's clicked up. A nice size army here from the Bantu player.
Yeah, this is a very solid raiding party.
Yeah.
Would like to see the Bantu player go Senator. Lakota, as we know, are not very good in the late game. They're advantages in the early game. And actually, I think Greenlove's not doing a super great job with his strategy, his gameplay here. Still, the food income's not even a plus 100. Usually, you want to max out the food income like very soon.
Yeah.
On this side, Senator from Rocinante, it's whatever, fine choice. He just needs to put pressure on the French player and not die. That's all. Because I think he is slightly ahead in terms of, at least in terms of like teching up to military stuff. But just needs to start pushing pressure, needs to get that mill up as soon as possible, put down a siege factory, start pushing pressure, or start raiding his opponent. Because it does look like Woolly is a bit exposed, like a heavy cataphractor a cataphractor or two could really do some damage on this side.
Yeah, I'm not sure if still no mill 2 from anyone yet.
Now the French player is going to go for mill 2 using furs. Nice choice there.
And Jesus and others, he just clicked up on mill 2 also. So, and Lakota's mill 2 now. So we're gonna see some action here.
Yeah, definitely. Rocinante needs to get either more economy or more tech up, because he needs that mill 2 to stave off this French despot. That's no doubt incoming.
Yeah, he's gonna get steamrolled if he doesn't.
Yeah, and it looks like, I mean, even if he does, it's going to be really hard. There's a Woolly's using horses. Siege factory going to come out. Looks like Rocinante is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Needs to pump out some more citizens. Needs to get that mill 2 up. Needs to get militia at the tower. Lakota's going to go for Despot. I don't like this choice. He's not very ahead of Jesus of Nazareth at all, who actually doesn't have a government quite yet. It really needs to get that senator going. I think that would be an excellent choice. But Greenlove's going to go for Despot. I don't think that's a good choice, but it looks like here, look at this bottom side. Sneaky Lakota, going to get a barracks, 2 sieges, and stable coming up, going to go for Rocinante's capital. And that's pretty much undefined aside from a single tower. Still no militia or allegiance.
Yeah, he needs to get that attrition and militia up for sure. He's got a decent amount of potential militia there if he gets it upgraded.
Looks like double despot from Squatter Water. Gonna push with these units. Rocinante out of position, doesn't have many units. And this is one thing that I see a lot of beginner players do, and I just want to point it out. You don't want to upgrade your units until you have a couple of them, basically, in like ancient age to classical age. You basically just don't want to upgrade them for a little while, because it's cheaper if you make a couple more units and then upgrade them, and also you want to save your resources for techie up to mill 2 and getting your production down. Yeah, that was my 2-second spiel. There is an army coming in from Greenlove. Would really like to see Jesus of Nazareth get up a siege factory and start sieging. Needs also some sort of government, because otherwise Rocinante is just gonna die, I think. This French despot army is gonna start being a little scary, pumping out chevaliers and units in the back here.
Yeah, and he's picking away at this wood camp that's gonna go down soon. He's gonna be able to walk into Kawa pretty much. Yeah, because now here comes the Lakota to Napata.
Yeah, here's Greenlove going in the back, gonna try to take Napata. No temple here, but I mean, that's hard to blame, because this city looks protected, but it's really not. No militia though. Now Rocinante is gonna go back and try and hold Napata.
Yeah, I think too little too late. It's gonna sack for sure. He might be able to take it back, but...
Yeah, and this is just Jesus of Nazareth playing way too passive up here. You know, he did some good raiding earlier, trading with the Lakota player, but you know, you can't let your ally get doubled like this in a 2v2 especially.
Yeah, this is big trouble. This is going to really hurt Rosinante's economy. Looks like he is going to hold it though.
For now, but then Vuli's going to come in and take the city.
Yeah, Vuli's just going to eliminate him, pretty much.
You know.
Yeah, Vuli's got a nice sized army. He's going to be double healing.
This was a very nice play from the French Despot player, even though he took some early damage. Militia finally coming for Rocinante, but it's just too little, too late. If he pulled the militia earlier, then he could have easily crushed one of the armies. But you know, he still is in a lot of trouble. But he could have held off the assault for at least a little bit, buying time for Jesus of Nazareth to come, who actually comes with very few units. And also still no government, still no, only now it has a siege going for Makasika. But this game looks like it's over. Rocinante is going to be able to take back the city, but has lost a bunch of units. Now there's a bit of a skirmish here in the middle between the French player as well as the Bantu player, and also some units randomly interspersed throughout.
Yeah, this is pretty much over. The Nubian economy has been completely devastated. Doesn't have any units. Dakota's still pumping troops out to the back there. So they're going to easily recapture Napata here shortly. And if I'm Vuli here, I just go all in on Kawa and just go for the insta-kill.
Yeah.
Because Lakota can handle Napata now. And we already got the sack. It looks like he's just being a little passive. Just sieging his market. Now he's going now, it looks like, finally. Take Kawa.
Yep.
Napata down again. This time Lakota sacked it, so eliminated all those farms.
Yeah, and that looks like GG to me. Well played on the part of Vuli, especially. I was not super impressed with Greenlove's Lakota play, but the French Despot definitely. I think I was pretty impressed. Good job, Vuli.
Yeah, this is pretty much textbook French Despot, which I know you love.
Yeah. Although, you know, we do see, like, on some maps, we do see, like, straight French Despot, as in no Com 2, but Vuli taking advantage of Silk, recognizing that he has a bit of a situation, that he can be a little greedy and go for a Com 2 early.
Yeah, exactly. It just depends on the situation, you know. Ideally, you can always get Com 2. That's the best way to do it. Yeah. Or even if you have diamonds, it's even better.
Yeah. But you also, if you're French Despoting, you do need to have some speed with you. So.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to delay for too long.
Yeah, if you're French Despot, it's pretty much a commit to the early game. You know, you're not going to probably last forever.
Yeah, like if you deal a lot of economic damage, you can tech up to Medieval Age and get Com 2 at some point. But
yeah.
Rocinante calls GG. Yeah, this game looks over. I mean, look at this. I mean, admittedly, a lot of these units are decoys, but look at this army from the French Despot. Oh, yeah. I know Coin somewhere is salivating.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Yeah, that's gonna be it. GG, well played. Clearly, Vuli with the most kills, 38 kills. Rocinante also trading, you know, does have a decent number of kills, but ultimately just got doubled early on. So, yeah.
All right. Well,
that will wrap it up for this series. That's going to be 2-0 in favor of Squatter Water. Again, both these teams are out of top 8 contention, but you know, it's still nice to see a game for them. Still nice to see them play. Well played. All right, that will wrap up today's stream. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you guys enjoyed. We cast 2 games today, but hope everybody enjoyed it because I sure did. So.
Yeah. But, I missed the AS, but I'm not missing much. I see them all the time. So
All right. I hope everybody